Hi, I'm Nancy Guinn,
I'm Chris Guinn.
and we are the owners of Dog Crazy. We have 6 brick and mortar locations, and we have a warehouse where we operate our online store out of in Virginia. And today we're going to be telling everybody how to turn your samples into cash. So one of the big things, I know a lot of you are in all the social media Facebook groups, and you see all these different posts about, oh, where do I put all these, dozens of samples I have, and where in my store can I have a big display of all this free stuff that people can walk in at any time and just take off of your shelves and leave your store and you never hear from them again. I know in the past we've had customers with small dogs who would come in and get samples and they never had to buy pet food.
Yeah, I was going to say, we used to be really guilty of this. And I remember specifically the turning point was when we opened our first Richmond store, and it was open for a few months, and, sales just weren't, hitting where we thought they should be hitting at that point. And it became a common theme where I saw on the orders that we were requesting more samples and more samples and more samples. And it's a tiny store. So when we went in there, it was
They
just
had bins upon bins upon
of
bins of samples everywhere.
Like, we got to get away from this.
Yeah, and the big thing about pet food is, we guarantee all of our products. So there's no reason that a customer can't buy that bag of food and walk out of your door. And you're not giving something away. You're giving that customer the food that their pet needs. You're helping that dog and you're making money at the same time. And that's why we're here. We're here to actually help dogs and make money. If we could do everything for free, that'd be great, but that's not the way the world works. So we're going to tell you guys how we discovered a way to take all of our samples and actually make money from our samples. So at the beginning of COVID, we ended up opening a giant warehouse. Our online orders had just taken off like crazy. And of course, we did all these, when we opened up the warehouse, we did all of our ISOs. And with those ISOs, we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of samples from our vendors. Really, there's nobody coming in the store, so we really can't hand out a sample here and there if needed. So we thought of a way that we could actually take all of these samples and make money from them. So what I did was I put together a little box and I took a bunch of our samples and I tossed them in the box, and I did just one time. I said, any order today is going to get a box of these samples for free. And we got, God, I think over 125 orders that day. And I remember sitting there and packing the boxes and looking at our warehouse manager and going, oh my God, like people are really like going crazy over some samples. Like, this is absolutely nuts. And I came home that night and I think I blew your mind.
Yeah.
With how many samples, because we're not like that. Like, we get samples when we go to stores and stuff, and they're samples. It's not that big of a deal for us, but customers really love them. And the big thing about samples, like if you're giving away samples in your store, there's a bunch of things that can happen. First of all, you're letting that sale walk out the door. That's his biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, and again, with all of our vendors, and this is across pretty much the entire industry, manufacturers guarantee their product. We guarantee our product. So we have one of the best return policies in the industry, I think, because it's really simple. It's a no hassle guarantee, refund. If they're not happy with the product, no matter what, just bring it back. So at that point, it doesn't make sense to give them a sample that they can just take,
maybe lose because they're not going to see it again.
Certainly they'll forget what it was. So when they come in, they're like, hey, I got the sample, but I don't remember what it was.
Yep, they throw the bag away.
That's if they come back, because usually it's a lot easier to just order it online. So if your online store isn't up to par, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So
we found a way that we could actually do this where we could track everything, still get customer samples, and get sales at the same time. So how we did that was these beautiful sample boxes. So this is one of our sample boxes, and you can see it's jam-packed. So now we do this the last weekend of every single month. So if you open up one of these sample boxes, you can see the amount of stuff that's in here is insane. And it's gotten better and better. We've been doing this for about 7 months now.
Yeah.
So what we do is we pack it full. This is actually one of the ones Earth Rated sent us a bunch of these wipes, which was great with COVID. We, sent out little notes on them saying, just in case you run out of TP, you always have these. A bunch of our vendors gave us tons of stuff. We have bows in here. We have all sorts of freeze dried. We have canned food. We have dry food. It's just packed to the gills with different samples. And we have different samples in here every month. So this is something that we've done so that we can give away these samples, get sales at the same time. And especially during COVID, we're able to get people to try new items that they may not have tried because they're not coming into the stores as much. and able to put their hands on the product. You can't really show it to them over the internet, where with these boxes, we're able to do that still, plus make a profit at the same time. So the first question people always ask, because I've had several stores reach out to me when they found out about this, is how do we get these samples? So most of your vendors will just send you samples. There's a new product out, they're going to send you samples. With us, I actually go to my vendors and I tell them, look, this is what I've been doing. I need samples from my boxes, and I need samples every single month. We had a bunch of new ones come in. I'm just off the top of my head. Guinn sent us shampoo samples for our boxes. We put them in the box that month. God, it wasn't even 2 days before a customer reached out and was like, oh my God, I need this charcoal shampoo. We ended up bringing their line into all 7 of our locations. We had another one, Susie CBD products. They went above and beyond. They sent us gigantic, the most beautiful sample bags. They're small 2-ounce bags. And immediately, even just because they sent those to us, I had to place an order. We can't keep that on the shelf now.
Yeah.
You know, so it benefits not only you and your customer, but it also benefits these companies, because we're getting their products into our customers' hands and they're ordering those products. Once you try it, they're going to buy it if they like it, and they're going to remember that you have it. So that's how you're going to get these samples for the box. We will have a lot of vendors out there who say, you know, oh, we don't really make samples. Not a problem. Send me some full-size products. We'll take the time to bag them and label them, and we'll put them in the box that way. That way our boxes are getting filled, our customers are getting new product. That vendor is going to eventually get sales from us, because if it's a great product, customers are going to love it. They're going to try it and they're going to want to buy it. So how do we make money from them? So with our sample boxes, we give them out the last weekend of every month. We were kind of, when it first started, we were kind of going with, you know, when is a good time to send these sample boxes out? And the more we thought about it, end of the month. That's when you want to push those sales. That's when you want to get people to buy things. You want your numbers to be great at the end of the month. So that's what we do now. So we've seen, I mean, quite an increase from these sample boxes. I mean, it's you know, they've really
Yeah, it's amazing the difference that you'll see as far as what we call a crazy crate weekend versus a non-crazy crate weekend. And I'll show a couple of slides here in a minute in regards to that. But let's talk a little bit more about the social media aspect of it, because obviously you do a phenomenal job with social media.
Yeah, so when we started the sample boxes, we had just, it was a little confusing for us because we had our crazy crates. We had a crazy crate sample box and we had our sample boxes. So people were getting confused between the two, because we also do the subscription boxes in our stores as well. We ended up changing the box. And if you look at the slide that's up, it actually says Dog Crazy Sample Box now. If you look at the bottom of it, it says share a pic of what your pet loves on social media and tag us at dogcrazy.com. So that has been probably one of the best things we've ever done. Every single time we have a sample box now, my social media gets flooded with all these different tags from people wanting these sample boxes. We get, gosh, dozens of emails every time we do it saying, how do I get it? How do I get it? How do I get it? And it's all because people shared that. So just that simple, putting that on the sticker and asking people to share it has really, I mean, it's brought us more business. People are so excited about getting these giant boxes filled with things. I would say, God, we got hundreds of new customers a month.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where, it takes a little bit of time for it to, catch traction, but the second that it starts to catch traction, you'll automatically you'll just see your sales increase, your revenue increases off of it. And it's crazy. Again, I mean, people love a good deal. So when they're buying something that they're going to buy anyhow, and then you add on to that sample box, it gives them, it's like Christmas for them, that they're getting these new items on a regular basis for their dogs or even their cats, and they're able to open this up and see what their dog or cat likes, and kind of incorporate that into their mix that they buy on a regular basis.
And that's another thing, we customize our boxes. So if, say, somebody is buying raw from me, I will not put kibble in their sample box. We look at what they're purchasing and we actually personalize the box to match what that customer would use. So if somebody was buying raw from me, I would put an oil of, like an ultra oil sample in there. We would put freeze dried samples in there. We even have frozen samples that we'll give them. So that way we know it's something that they'll use because they're already feeding raw. So you want to personalize it to where the customer is actually benefiting from what they're getting. We won't give them samples of something that they wouldn't use. If somebody's a cat customer, customer, we're going to put more cat samples in their box. If they're a dog customer, of course, more dog samples. If it's a person who's feeding grain-free, I'm going to choose the samples that go in there. We have so many to choose from now. We will actually customize them so we know it's something that customer will love. And if it's a customer that I know, I even go as far as handwriting a note on their box saying, I hope, Hank loves these. I hope the dogs absolutely love these. I know your dog loves this. You have to try this now. And it adds that extra little touch. And that's the thing with a lot of this is people are like, oh, well, this is online and we don't do online sales. You don't have to. You can do this in your store. So this is something that, you can advertise it for in-store, you can do it for curbside, you can do it online. This is something you can do all different ways. And that's another thing we're saying, even in your store, don't give away the samples. Have events at the end of every month. They know if they walk into your store and they make a purchase, and we have a limit on it, they have to make a $35 purchase or higher. We've done other ones that's $50 or more, and that way you get a bigger box with more samples, especially if we have like full-sized samples, then we'll do a $50. You spend $50, you get this giant sample box, plus it has full-size products in it. Those, the customer, oh gosh, that one, yeah. They go absolutely nuts for that one, just to get that full-size product. And 9 out of 10, we got that product for free. So if you talk to your vendors, a big thing that you can ask for, apologize, we have dogs. Our beagle wants to be on here. One thing you can ask for is if they have short-dated product that you can get for either free or very inexpensive. If you can get it for, $1 or less, even $2 or less, I'm putting it in that sample box. Because if I'm getting $50 on a, and they're getting this box of samples plus one product that I paid $1 to $2 for, I mean, that's a huge impact for your customers. They're like, oh my gosh, and they're probably going to love the product, especially if it's a great product. They're not going to see that it's short dated. They're not going to know why it was in there. They're just going to know that they got this free product from you. So this is something that it's not only online, you can do it curbside and you can do it in-store pickup. And then if you, do delivery like we do, you can do it that way also. But again, it's something that customers will come to look forward to, and it'll really boost your numbers for the end of the month, because all of us want to finish strong when it comes to all sales, actually.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that you want to remember is that you want to increase your average transaction. You want to increase the number of transactions. So ultimately, you want to keep them coming back and doing more purchases. And ultimately, they start to get on. They start to realize that this is on a schedule. All right, every week, the last weekend of every month, we're going to be doing this. So they get really excited about it. So you don't want them to just shop during that time, though. So ultimately, one of the additional things that we do is we'll put a bounce back coupon into it.
Yep.
So that way it's encouraging them to buy outside of that time frame. So that way they're getting their sample box and getting their regular stuff, but then they're getting a bounce back coupon of what the samples were. So they're getting an additional discount when they order those full size products versus just the samples.
So an example of that is in our orders, we've put a coupon on there with a sample attached to it. And if you can see, it actually has a bounce back coupon on it. So there's a code on here that if they go and they order this product and they get this discount because they put this code in, we can track that. So we can see how successful it is. This is with any samples that we do. The big thing about this is, like we said earlier, if you give out samples and somebody comes in and they're like, oh, I walked in here a couple weeks ago and you gave me a sample of that food and I don't remember what it was called, but it was purple and my dog really liked it. Do you know which one it was? And you look at your giant sample display that you have in your store and you look at purple and there's 15 purple things and you're like, you don't know. The thing about our sample boxes is we do know. So we do get a lot of orders in, but we take the time to track every single one of those samples we put in the box. So we save our sample boxes so we know what was put in them. Plus, if we put something special in, like I said, if we have a raw feeder or we have somebody who does freeze dried, we will make a note on their account as to what we added to their package. So that way, when they do come back to us, we actually know exactly what we gave them and we can sell them the product that they loved so much. So there are extra steps in doing these things, but if you think of the extra steps you do now, think of how much time it's going to save you in the future when that customer does come back and they're unsure of what they got or which one it was. You're going to know. You have to be able to track these things. So it's just an easy way for you to, figure out like what your customers actually love when it comes to the boxes that they're getting. So
Yeah, I think one of the big things is just tracking the samples so that way you know exactly what's being given out, what's gaining traction, and over time you start to realize, like, I know I gave out these samples, I know that it's gaining traction because I see more and more, like the CBD treats, the what was it, the Susie
Yeah, Susie's. Yeah, that one
Susie's
is.
CBD treats. I mean, I almost practically on a daily basis, I'm seeing someone ordering those things. So that was a really good one. Just inherently, I know that it's, you know, that it's good. But most samples come with barcodes. So if you have the time and you have a good enough POS system, you can technically put them into your system and scan them. So that way, as you you know, put them into the boxes, you're keeping track of it that way. Other than that, a nice easy spreadsheet, Google Sheets, you know, Excel, whatever you want to do. Just, you know, each month write down what was in that box, so that way if you need to go back and look at it, you can see what was in the box if the customer is questioning it. You can correspond when they, you know, placed their order, when they came in and bought, you know, bought it versus what month that box was, and so you'll know exactly what was in there.
Exactly. As far as getting all these samples goes also, now we have vendors reaching out to us, asking us if their samples can be in our box. So, I mean, it's created such a stir. People see how much our sales are increasing and how well we're doing. And now there are vendors out there that literally every month are sending me new products that they want me to put in the box. And this isn't something that I went after. This isn't something that I ordered. This is, they heard about what we were doing. They know it's a great way to get their product into customers' hands. We have shelves upon shelves upon shelves of samples in our warehouse now where we're doing this. I mean, this is one. I called my store yesterday and I said, hey, can you guys put this box together, what we have for the boxes this month? I mean, we even have poop bag holders in these boxes. It's crazy the amount of free items that you'll get that you can give to your customers. And I mean, like I said, we get samples from other stores all the time. Like just recently we went into a store and we left with cologne samples for him, and he got them and they're sitting on our dresser and they're great, you know, 2 little samples. But when you get this packed to the gills with all this stuff, I mean, your dogs alone are going to lose their mind over everything that's in here. When your dog loses his mind, of course, you're going to pull out your phone and you're going to start taking pictures. You're going to put them on social media, and we're going to talk about next is our social media. So with ours, what we do when we're going to do a sample box weekend, I do preemptively go online and say, hey, sample box weekend is coming. You want to get people excited. Yes, you'll lose some sales that you were going to get over the next day or two. I try not to do it more than 48 hours in advance, just because I don't want people to be like, oh, I want to hold out into this weekend. But what we'll do is we'll actually have a giant sale on something a few days prior. So people get really excited, especially like Tuesday. We're actually having one of those today. We're doing a Tuesday sale in our stores where people can get natural cheese at 20% off. Of course, that's a huge spike right there. I mean, our Tuesday sales are phenomenal. But if we do one on that Tuesday, and then that weekend, that Saturday, we have our sample box sale, we're going to get double the sales, because people are still going to order because they want both. They want the sale and then choose, plus they want that free sample box. So you're not going to really lose very many orders because you're going to get them all back that weekend, giving away free product.
Yeah, I think one of the big things when we're looking at, you know, the different types of sales that we do, and the one thing I love the most, because by nature I'm an accountant, so I love the financial aspect of it. You know, Tuesday sale, we're giving stuff at 20% off, so that eats into our margin, which natural chews you get great margins on to begin with. But when we're talking about a sample box sale, giveaway, that's all free and clear. You know, those are samples that were given to us for free that we're just passing along to our customers because they're already placing an order. So we're not discounting anything else. They're not, you know, buying anything else at, you know, 20% off. They're simply hitting a minimum threshold in order to get this sample box. And I love it because it keeps our margins intact.
Yeah, and another thing too is when you're giving away one sample to a customer, yeah, they could come back and they could want that one product. But with ours, we give away 1 dozen or more with every box. We guarantee 12 or more. So they're not just trying one product. They're trying 12 to, we've gone up to 20 different things in a box before. That's 20 different things they're trying. And if their dog loves all of them, that's a huge sale when they come back. They'll come back with the packages from 3 to 4, sometimes more products. And they're like, I want all of these. Where are they? What do I have to do to get them? There's been some of the things that I'm just like, oh, there's no way that's going to, I don't think that one's going to bring in it. People love that stuff. And I'm like, God, I hate when I'm wrong. Like,
Yeah, but that's, I mean, that's the big thing. You got to have the variety. You know, you can't have just one or two samples that you're giving away. You have to have, you know, a nice assorted variety that actually gets customers excited. Because there's naturally, every dog is different, every cat is different. There, you know, some dogs are picky, you know, some cats are picky. So they're going to get to that point where like, no, I don't like this. But when they get something where the dog or the cat goes absolutely nuts for, that's what they're holding on to, and they're like, oh, I need to get more of this.
Yeah, and that's another thing too with our sample boxes. Like I said, we do customize them to dog or cat. We always, even if it is dog or cat, we always put a few extra samples for the species of pet that they don't have, because very rarely will somebody just throw that away and say, oh, my pet doesn't like it. They're going to walk it next door to their next door neighbor, or they're going to call a friend and say, hey, I got these samples, I can't use them, whose pet wants them? And of course, somebody's going to claim, like, especially on social media, I see all the time, like with other subscription boxes and things that are out there, hey, I got this, it's not something I would use, who wants it? That other person's going to try it. And of course, where'd you get it from? You know, they're going to tell them where they got it from. They may or may not be a customer, and you're gaining another customer that way. So even if it's something that they won't use, it, they don't have that pet, still included. It's free, and you never know where your next purchase is going to be, or where your next customer is going to come from. You know, it could just be somebody who is the next door neighbor of somebody who got one of your sample boxes. So as far as advertising our sample boxes, like I said, about 48 hours in advance, we'll do a post, just a post on social media saying it's coming. We just want to warn people, because the last thing we want is for somebody to place an order on that Friday, and then that Saturday the sample box comes out, and then they're mad that they didn't wait 24 more hours to place the order. And just so everybody knows, if they are mad, we're going to give them a sample box, because this is all about keeping the customer and keeping your customer happy. So it's much easier just to give out a sample box rather than to have to deal with an angry customer. So that's just something everybody should remember. So for us, we post it on social media the morning of, and we'll do different things. We'll do boomerangs where I'll actually hold up the box and I'm like, oh, everybody excited, and I'll open it up real quick and then shut it just so they can see what's in it. I'll do, like I said, that's a video. We'll do the boomerang. We'll real quick do it so you can just get a sneak peek of what's inside the box. Sometimes we'll add some excitement to it. Oh, this month we're focusing on this, this, and this in our sample box. This month it's going to be a dental sample box. The next month it's going to be a chew sample box. You know, we do different ones so that it's not the same thing every time, because we want these customers to order from us monthly. Because we have a lot of customers that will not order until that sample box comes out, and they will order to the penny just to get it for free. We look at some of them where we're like, they put exactly 47 duck feet in their cart to get them to that threshold. You know, they should have done 48 because you get a discount on 12, but you know, that's how they do it. That's how they want to do it. Social media is big for us. We do it on there. And of course it gets shared a lot on social media, but the biggest thing for us is email. So we have our MailChimp account where we'll actually do the picture of the Crazy Crate, and then we put very strong wording in there explaining exactly how to order it. As soon as we send that email out, our online store gets flooded. I mean, flooded with orders, to the point where we normally have 4 to 5 people in our web store working. When it's a Crazy Crate weekend, we need more than that. We need extra drivers, we need extra people there, just because they're packing and shipping those orders. To be quite honest, we have not done it in store because this was something that we came up with online, but it is 100% possible to do it in store. We personally just haven't, because of the amount of stores that we have. It would be absolutely insane to do that many when we can just focus on our online store. We operate our online store like it's an actual store. So for us, that is a location. So this is just a deal that we offer strictly online. But like I said, very easily done in store. But for us, email marketing by far is the best way to get to our customers. I know a lot of people are scared to do email marketing because they're afraid they're going to pester their customers. Unsubscribe just breaks their heart. And the thing is, you have to realize, like this morning, I went in to send out our email for our sale that we're having. And I saw we had 17 new subscribers to our email. And I was like, yes, that's awesome. And right underneath it, we had 81 people unsubscribed. That's okay. Not everybody's your customer, you know? And the thing is, your emails are getting to people. And granted, yes, some people did unsubscribe. I can guarantee a lot of them will come back and they'll end up subscribing again. But it's okay. You know that what you're putting out there, people are actually seeing. So I look at unsubscribe as a compliment. They opened the email, they took the time to say, I don't want to hear from this person, and we move on. But you think of the amount that you get from the people who actually do open that email and the people who took the time to actually go to your website and hit subscribe. Those are new customers. And if you look at the lifetime value of a customer, that's more important than those people who don't want to hear from you anymore. Not everybody's your customer, and that's 100% okay. So like I said, for us, email is definitely the way to go.
Well, honestly, social media in general is just, it's a powerful marketing tool, whether you're doing email, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, what's the new one that we were just hearing about, Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, yeah.
Pinterest, it doesn't matter. There's so many multiple platforms when it comes to social media.
Get on all
marketing.
of them.
Get on all of them. If you don't have a person to help you with that, definitely get a person to help you with that. The one thing I absolutely love about our boxes is it is directing them. It gives them, it's telling them to what to do. Share a pic of, of what your pet loves, and tag us, because ultimately when they do that, then their friends are seeing it and they're seeing where they got it from, and then that's causing them to to start following us. And even though they might not necessarily go to Dog Crazy and sign up for the newsletter immediately, they're following us on Facebook, they're following us on Instagram, and then they're still getting that message. So anytime it's a sample box weekend, they're still getting that message on social media. So your mailing list isn't your end all to be all, but you definitely want to make sure that you have a robust mailing list. And again, don't worry about the unsubscribes or the unlikes. Again, they're just not your customers.
Yeah, and when you do see the social media pictures and you see these people's dogs in their homes losing their mind over this bot, I can't. It's just the cutest darn thing in the whole world. That's my favorite. Yeah. I love seeing that. And they're like ripping open the samples to see what's in there. It's literally the cutest thing ever. I think that's my favorite part of the entire thing. Okay. So we started these 7 months ago. So this was, like I said, we were in our warehouse, we were having a slow day. I looked at my manager and I said, what can we do to drive some sales in? And, we saw all these boxes and we were like, yeah, let's do this. And it's continued to grow. I mean, our numbers are insane when it comes to a Crazy Crate sample box weekend. So if you want to,
yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about the numbers for the people out there that love that. So really 2 basic slides here. And of course, it all comes down to the purchase funnel. Ultimately, when you're talking about, the purchase funnel, you want to look at impressions or even foot traffic if you're doing it in store. And obviously, the more people that are coming to your website or coming into your store, the more likely you are to sell stuff. And people go nuts for, something as basic as giving away free samples. So when you're looking at this particular slide, this is really just comparing a Crazy Crate weekend versus a non-Crazy Crate weekend. And it's 151% increase over a non-Crazy Crate weekend in sales. So we're averaging, a little over $11,000 on that weekend. And again, we're not Amazon, we're a small business, but I think we're doing well, and again, this is just average over the past 7 months, and it has continuously increased. It's continuously gotten better. The average transaction has gotten better. The average number of orders has gotten better. So
we even have people who will place multiple orders.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They'll do one order for 35 and then they'll go and like an hour later and then they place another order, and then I've had up to 4 in one day from one person because they want 4 boxes of samples. And you know what? They're getting 4 boxes of samples. That's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, do not make it a limited, experience. Don't make it like the first 50 customers, because then you're kind of cutting yourself off on sales. You want to make sure that everybody that walks into your door has the opportunity to get a sample box. You want to make sure everyone that comes online to your store, has that opportunity. Sometimes, you might be expecting orders and you'll just reach out to your vendors, give me more, give me more, as much as possible, because you always want to have a plethora of those samples in stock, because you don't know when when it's going to blow up.
Yeah, we have a few shelves in our warehouse dedicated to it. But even before that, when it was in our stores and we had samples, we never put samples on the floor where customers could see them, just because that is an easy way. Let me get something for free and get out of here, when we can sell them what they need, not just give it away. So in our stores, we have shelves with samples on them, but we always kept them in the back. We had them organized, nice and neat. We knew what was there. So if there was somebody who truly, did not want to buy anything that day, but we didn't want them to leave without something, we do have those samples of food, those samples of treats where they can go home and give to their dogs. But it's just not something that's going to take up space on our floor, space that we can have something that's actually making us money.
So this is just the last slide, kind of going back to the impressions, and it doesn't look like much of a difference, but again, it goes back to the purchase funnel. So if you're looking at the number of visits for Crazy Crate weekend versus a non-Crazy Crate weekend, there's a huge increase just in the number. And again, we're not Amazon, we're not getting millions of people hitting our website on a daily basis.
One day we will.
We'll get there. But the amount of orders doubles. It's actually 111% increase over a non-Crazy Crate weekend. Which just speaks volumes. And again, it is constantly increasing. And the great thing is you're getting these people hitting the Crazy Crate weekend, but then a lot of them are, continuing to order throughout the rest of the month. And you do other things to keep them loyal to you. So we, of course, our loyalty program and things like that helps keep them tied to us and married to us, because we try to hit them on all facets to make sure that they don't ever want to leave.
Yeah, so just since we've done this, and if that's another thing with this also, if you're not doing online sales, that's the thing right now. Our increase in online sales has been, what was the number? It was
over 1,200% increase from 2019 to 2020.
Yeah.
And of course, 2021 is shaping up to be even better than 2020 when it comes to online sales. I can tell you that if you're not doing online sales, you definitely want to get into it. Even as the pandemic kind of fades away into the background, hopefully, knock on wood, and we get back to normalcy, people's buying habits have shifted, and they're going to kind of stay that way for at least for a long time. Some people that were, in, brick and mortars have gone online, and they're probably not going to go back to brick and mortars, at least for a while. So you want to still be able to capture that audience.
And that's one other thing too. Like I said, we have the sample boxes are great, but even when somebody is making a purchase in your store, and if you want to give samples to customers, that's fine. Give a sample with purchase. Say a customer's coming in and they're buying a bag of, let's say just a grain-free dog food. And you have a bunch of samples of freeze-dried, or samples, like small samples of cans or something like that. Hand that customer one of the samples with purchase, with a bounce back coupon, to get them back into your store again to try yet another sample. They're getting it, but they're getting money at the same time, because you're making a purchase, you're giving them a sample, you're giving them a bounce back coupon, you're doing best by their dog and giving their dog something that the customer would actually use. And you can make you can make money from samples that way. Never ever give anything away for free unless you're going to make a profit off of it.
That's the moral of the story.
That's the moral of the story. We're here to help dogs and make money at the same time. Don't give anything away for free. You don't have to do that. You can get things for free and you can make money off of those things. You just have to be creative in doing so.
I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So, thank you guys so much. If you want to see one of our emails that we send out monthly, you can go to our website, dogcrazywithak.com, and subscribe to our emails, and you can follow us and see, how we do these things and how we make money off of free goods.
Yeah. And if you unsubscribe down the road, it won't hurt my feelings.
Me either. I'm good with that. That's all right. You are my customer.
So, all right, guys, thank you so much for.
Thank you.
That's it.